Okay, hello everyone. It's great to have you all on board. It's another time with Tuto.io, the enthusiastic tutor, and in today's tutorial, it happens to be the very last class we'll be having on the course BUS403 that completes the formalization phase of the course. The next class we'll be having will be on Telegram, which is to further discuss what we have been able to learn in the course or the course teaching on YouTube, and we can move to the next one. So for those of us who haven't joined a private class yet, ensure to reach out to me on www.tutorial.net. Use the WhatsApp button on the top right hand corner, send me a direct message, and from there you can join the class after I guide you. And trust me, what we do here on YouTube is more like 30%. All right, the 50% remaining is the 70% remaining is left to restricted only to the private members of our private class. So please ensure you sign up for our private class today. Now, very quickly, without further ado, we're going to be talking about, all right, we have actually been talking about group dynamics, all right, dynamics of groups. So today we're going to be taking a bearing from the external dynamics of groups. Now, when we talk about the external dynamics of groups, what are we talking about? Now, there are a number of factors, okay? All right, I can see this comment section is buzzing. Okay, Miss Ade says hello. Miss Macule says hello. Miss Tasha says hi. Not Bed of Roses says hi. Wonderful. Good evening. You're highly welcome. Yes. So now, like I was saying, the external dynamic of group. Okay? External dynamic of group. The external dynamics of group. Now, there are a number of factors. This class is not going to be a long one because we are already wrapping things up already. So there are a number of factors, both internal and external, which affect group functioning. All right? There are a number of factors, both internal and external, that affect group functioning. Any change in this factor necessitates change in a group or organization, whether externally or internally. When these factors change, it necessitates, it reciprocates, or it determines a change in the functioning of this group organization. All right, so before we talk about external, let's quickly talk about the internal factors. For the internal factors, we have the likes of the nature. Okay, we have the likes of the nature. Are we together? Okay. Now, for the internal factors, we have the likes of, let's consider the internal factors. We have the likes of the nature of the group members or workforce. Now, the nature of the group member could change over the passage of time. Okay, in organization, different work values have been expressed by different generations. Let's say, for instance, workers who are in the age of 50 plus value loyalty, all right, of their employee. All right, the nature, and don't forget, nature changes. And just like we're being told here that over the passage of time, it's expected that certain nature will change. So we have nature of the group member, nature of the group members, or nature of the workforce. So change in the nature of the workforce of the group member necessitates a change in that organization. Now we also have Change in managerial position. When a manager is changed, definitely, all right, there will be a change in that organization of managerial position. When there's a change, when a manager is being changed, trust me, there must be change because new manager, new strategy. All right, it might be the same strategy the organization is using, but don't forget this is a new personality. All right, this person can choose to apply this strategy, the same strategy, but applied by different people. So the influence or the kind of person that manager is, his personality will influence that strategy. All right. So when there's a change in managerial position, it also determines a certain change. All right. So we have that as that. Now, management structure. When there's a change in management structure, this change of managerial position is also a catalyst or is one of the elements, all right, of managerial structure, change in managerial structure as well. So for external factors, we have the likes of technology. All right. We also have the likes of market condition. We also have that of political, all right, atmosphere. Marketing conditions are not, all right, static. They are, all right, they change rapidly. Don't forget that competitions are coming out every day. So you have to change your market strategy. Social changes, political forces, political atmosphere. All right. So we have that as that. So very quickly, like I said, we are wrapping up with things already. There's something called selection features and uses of some group techniques. There's something called selection features of a group. For you to want to bring a group together, there are certain features you look out for. For you to bring a group together, there are certain features to look out for. Okay? For you to achieve a group of scientists, in that group, you are not expected, in that group, you are not expected to bring on board carpenters. All right? The features you're looking out for, members of that group will be related to science. Will be related to science. Okay? Now, so that is what it is about the selecting feature of the group. So now when you are doing selecting feature, there are certain things you must consider. Now, the very first one is the most important, all right? The very first important step is to select members whose record shows that they are responsible, all right, and capable enough, all right? Responsible, okay? Responsible and capable enough. Then, second option is what? Responsibility of the member of the team must be spelled out, all right? Spell, let's just put as role, all right? We must identify each of the members' role. Okay, so we also have membership size. Membership and size of the team is important. All right, so we have the size. You need to determine the size of the team. Then we also have the fourth one. When the team is selected and the terms of reference is made, all right, they should be left to do the job without undue interference. So it should be all right. So more like induction. Then we have the next one is leadership. Appoint a leader. appoint a leader that can always supervise. Then we also have, all right, time limits, when to resume, when to close. And lastly, we have remuneration, all right, remuneration. We also have remuneration. And we also have time limits. Okay, so we have that as that. Group techniques, all right, group technique as well. When we talk about group techniques, we want to talk about peaceful demonstrations, all right. We want to talk about affiliations with stronger groups and the likes. So very quickly, let's talk about evaluation. Now, when you hear the word evaluation, what comes in mind? When you hear the word evaluation, what comes in mind? I think I need to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, I think this is better. Now, the word evaluation, when you hear the word evaluation, what comes in mind? We want to talk about, according to what Brown in 2005 says. Brown says evaluation is the process of determining the extent to which the goal of the group has been achieved. All right? Evaluate, I think I should have marked up that. Evaluation, that's according to Brown, the determinant of the measurement, all right, to which the extent, goal, measurement, success, the extent to which the goal of the group has been achieved. We talk about evaluation. And there are types. We have the formative and the summative. Now, as far as the formative is concerned, all right, it is ongoing. All right, it is ongoing. But summative is what we refer to as an end of the program of evaluation. So formative is continuous, but summative, like it says, summarizes at the end of the program. So we have that as I said this class is not going to be long because we're already wrapping up the things already. So very quickly, we want to talk about cooperatives. Like I said earlier, for those of us who haven't joined private class, let's ensure to join today when the major thing happens. Now, as far as cooperative is concerned, what comes in mind? Okay, now when we say cooperatives, we are simply referring to, all right, a very generic term. It means any form of two or more persons working together to achieve a goal. Working together to achieve a goal. Like name says, cooperative. Okay, a group or two, that's two or more people. Okay, cooperative, two or more people working together to achieve something has brought them together. All right, and what has brought them together have what we call mutual benefits. Okay, meaning that this individual have or will both benefit? Okay, will both benefit from this arrangement? Okay, two of them will benefit from this arrangement. So they have to come together to pull resources, to pull their resources together and see to the fact that they need to achieve what needs to be achieved. All right. And that speaks a lot about cooperative. It also says that it is such working together in order to what? Make a formal or informal basis. All right. Now, cooperative could be on formal or informal basis. Now, when we say formal now, it has it observes certain things. All right. When we say formal, there are proper documentations. Also, thank you very much for that. There are proper documentations. All right. Deed of agreement, partnership, and the like. Okay. But when it's informal, it is more like word of mouth. Okay. It is more like word of mouth. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. So we have that as that. Now let's move to the next one. It says here that what is the relevance of group characteristics of cooperative? All right. When we talk about the relevance of group characteristics of cooperative, we are talking about the characteristics that are applied in cooperative. The members will help to improve their interaction among themselves and develop their relationship. All right. Help to improve interaction and develop relationship. Okay. There we are talking about wonderful, wonderful, awesome. Then we are talking about membership, all right, and supporting each other. Okay, so we have that as that. Awesome, awesome. Wow, it's a lot of stickers tonight. Thank you very much, Ms. Immaculate, taking this a day. Really appreciate your encouragement and support. All right. So now, finally, as we call it a wrap for tonight, all right, it says here that the knowledge and application of group characteristics to cooperative will help members. All right. Now that you understand what groups, all right, are and how they should be run and functionally effective, then you want to apply it to cooperative. So that knowledge you have about how groups are and how they need to be run effectively will help in applying, all right, to the characteristics of the cooperative in order to achieve the intentions of both owners. So thank you very much, everyone. This is where we call it a wrap for today, and we'll wrap on the final phase of this course. Next time we are meeting with you on Telegram as we discuss further, all right, and resources will be given to help and get them ready for their forthcoming exam. You have a wonderful evening, and bye for now.